Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
Righty. We are into another episode of Music Gear Talk, powered by EnterTalk Media, where you connect to all things music. My name is Florentino Buenaventura, and I am your host for today, and really appreciate you folks tuning in, as this is going to be a great show on innovation and how to get your gear clipped to your drums. So we have an awesome company here with us today, PinchClip, and we have the principal, William Feldman, or commonly called Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, man. Well, hey, welcome to the show here, man. Thanks for being patient with us. We had you scheduled for last week, and a couple of things.
I'm sorry you're cutting out a little bit.
All right. Are you hearing me better?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we had you scheduled a couple of times last week, and we had to reschedule for today. So we really appreciate you making the change for us. And you are a man who knows how to adapt to things, and that's really what's cool about your product. Let's kind of start. How did you get into this world of music? How did you get into this business?
Well, I've been playing drums pretty much all my life. I've been playing for over 50 years. And like most drummers, I saw Ringo on the Ed Sullivan Show back in, I think it was 1964, I want to say. And drums just kind of found me, I guess. And I've had a real passion for drums and equipment, for drumming and equipment, pretty much all my life.
Awesome. What would you start off with, man? I always like to find out what was the original kit that sparked that interest?
A Ludwig Acrolite snare drum. That was about it. I mean, prior to that, when I was a little kid, I was playing, I guess, pots and pans and beating on anything that I could, chairs, furniture. But first drum kit kind of evolved over a number of years, but started out for real with a snare drum and a pair of sticks.
That's awesome, and you were trying to figure out, how do I get this frying pan to attach to that T-fall pot, right? And so that's kind of
something like that. Yeah, I've always been a tinkerer, so
that's how it kind of came about.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
And so you're a drummer, and then all of a sudden you come up with a revolutionary new idea, the PinchClip, and that's pretty much what this whole company started off. How did you build that? How did that get started, and what were some of the inspirations behind that?
Well, this was sort of a circuitous path. I'm an architect by profession, and I have a background. When I was in college, I studied product design, industrial design, as opposed to architecture. I became an architect, but it's really the same process, whether you're designing a clip or you're designing a building. It's just a matter of scale, and it's really about function and how things work and how people use either objects in the case of product design, or how they use spaces in the case of architecture. So I have always been thinking about drums and gear ever since really my first true drum set, and this was just sort of a natural evolution. I've got lots and lots and lots of ideas and sketches of products that I never really did anything about. And some of them I've actually seen come to fruition. So what happens typically is that more than one person might be thinking of an idea. These things happen in parallel sometimes. But in this case, I had an idea for a quick release cymbal stand mechanism, because like most drummers, I was kind of frustrated with dealing with Wingnuts, and you have to be a drummer to understand that. And at the same time, I was thinking about a hi-hat clutch mechanism, a quick release thing. And I think it's human nature to over-engineer things. So I started out sort of thinking of these things as being probably more complicated than they needed to be. And one day this idea just kind of came into my head. I don't know, just like anything else, it's kind of like a gift. It just pops in your head and you start to visualize it. And I realized that this clip, this idea, could potentially be used for a hi-hat clutch as well as the threads on a cymbal stand, a cymbal rod. And so it took quite a while to find somebody that could make prototypes for me. I'm not really set up to manufacture things, so I found a place that was willing to work with me and develop prototypes. And part of it wasn't just what it looks like and how it works, but figuring out how to heat treat it, how not to make it too brittle. And it behaves like a binder clip, if you will. Everybody's familiar or used binder clips before for attaching, reams of paper and stuff. So it behaves the same way. It's a stainless steel clip. It's heat treated. It's coated with a vinyl just to make it a little bit friendlier to your fingers. And so this company made some prototypes for me. And I know this is kind of a long-winded answer, but I took about 100 prototypes with me to the Chicago Drum Show back in 2014. And this is a show that happens every year in the Chicago area, and it attracts drummers from all over the country. In fact, people from all over the world attend this show. It started out as like a swap meet or a place where custom drum builders would come or drum restorers would come and just talk shop and show their wares. And it's grown over the years so that it has really kind of an international presence. Ludwig is represented. Some of the major drum companies have booths there. So I rented a booth there and brought some clips with me, developed a temporary sort of logo and some graphics to go with it. And the idea wasn't to sell them. The idea was just to get feedback from users and to try to meet as many people in the industry as I could. I really didn't know anybody in the musical instrument industry at that time. So I went there. I showed them to people. Just people would say, "How much are they?" And at the time, they were about $250 a clip. Sort of kidding with them just because of the development costs and the legal costs for getting a patent and all that. So I met a number of people there. One in particular that helped me get this on the market. He owns a cymbal company and he also works as a marketing consultant. And his name is David Levine, and he's very well connected in the percussion musical instrument industry. And he got me sort of connected with distributors, with a manufacturer, somebody that could actually make these in mass for me. And so began this process. We got it on the market, actually officially on the market in early 2015. So it took about 6 to 8 months to actually get this going and get kind of figure out how we were going to market this. Came up with the name PinchClip and the current logo, and sent out a bunch of press releases back in, I think, November of 2014, just before the holiday season. And I got an overwhelming number of responses, and people wanted to know where they could buy them. And at the time, I didn't even have a distributor. They weren't really for sale. I didn't have an inventory. So kind of put the cart before the horse. But I just, would say, please be patient. We're working on it, and I'll let you know. And kept track of everybody that emailed me and let them know once we had inventory and we had a distributor where they could get them. So we've been sort of growing our distributor base, and they've been growing their retailer base as well, just trying to get the word out. A lot of this has been really word of mouth and attending Chicago Drum Show, the NAMM shows, and it's been growing little by little every year.
Yeah, and that's a pretty reasonable price. $10 make life easier. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that at all. That's great.
Yeah. So I think for now we're gonna keep it at $10 and do the best we can. Everything else, of course, it's just like cost of living with everything that's going up. But I think that's kind of the magic number right now, is to keep it at or below $10. So
gotcha.
So that's the plan. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I've been looking at this. I've looking at pictures and everything, and I unfortunately have not had a chance to use one. But like you said, it's such a very simple thing. What I'd like for people to do, if they're by a computer right now, or even on their phones and listening in through our lovely InnerTalk Radio app. If you don't have that, you should go. That's my shameless plug for the apps. You should go to the your store, whether it be an iPhone or Android, and type in InnerTalk Radio and pull up that app and listen in. And while you're doing that, you could also still surf the web because it'll play in the background, and check out PinchClip.com, PINCH-CLIP.com, and take a look at these things. They're simple, but it's brilliant. There's just like I said, there's so much usage for it. I mean, for the first thing is if you're a band who is doing your originals and you're playing with other bands, you always want to have your snare drum and you want to have your own cymbals. So if you have something like this and you're not having to sit there and, like I said, do the wingnut dance and flip that thing around 100,000 times until you can get each one of those off and get your cymbals on, this is a fast and efficient way to do that. Now, these are all one size. The clips are all one size, it looks like, right?
They are one size fits all. It's universal. And I just want to point out, too, because it's not readily obvious, that these work beautifully in place of your hi-hat clutch nut. So there's a knurled nut typically found on the hi-hat clutch to hold the top cymbal on, and this replaces that. And again, it turns just about any hi-hat clutch into a quick release clutch. So they work well on that. It is one size. They work on older 6mm cymbal rods. The holding power isn't quite what it is on the 8mm rods and on hi-hat, the hi-hat clutches as well. But they are universal. We're constantly looking at ways to improve this and redevelop it. But to answer your question, yep, one size.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about some of the players that are using this. You got a good collection of artists that you have there. Who was the first one of kind of notoriety that picked that up? And tell us about some of the other players that are using it. And what are they saying?
Well, so far I've had a real good response. I don't have any household names that are using this, but we just got Omar. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name, Ledzima. He's with the Pacific Mambo Orchestra,
nice.
And he also teaches at near San Francisco. I'm trying to get his credentials up right now.
Yeah, I see him right now. He's a Grammy winner, obviously an educator, California Jazz Conservatory, SF Community Music Center, and the San Francisco Ballet.
Yeah. I met him in January at the NAMP show and gave him some clips to try out. He loved them, and I said, "We'd love to have you as a PinchClip artist." And there you go. So we've got Omar, we've got Calixto Oviedo, who's really a living legend in Afro-Cuban music. He's from Cuba. He lives in California now, and he's also an endorser. And then we have a number of other endorsers as well. I'm just looking for my list here, but
they even got the Paul Simmons from Cinderella. There you go, Paul. You got your medal. That's Paul is my right hand. He's the one who gets all the things dialed in for technology around here in this joint. So
right,
I like simple solutions.
That's what this is. Well, we've got about a minute left. Tell us about the social media that you guys have, and then we're going to come in to the second segment, talk about NAMM and all the other fun things. Actually, no, about 20 seconds left.
Okay, sure. We do post on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and Instagram. I have one of my PinchClip artists actually does the posting for me. He handles all the social media. His name is Jeff Wheeler. He lives in the East Bay area, San Francisco area.
I was just
and
up there.
He's a drummer and educator out there. Yeah, and
very cool.
He's been handling that.
Awesome. Well, that music tells me we're going to go into commercial. Stay tuned. This has been Music Gear Talk on InnerTalk Media. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
Righty. We are now back again with the second segment of Music Gear Talk today on this fresh, fun Monday that we've got going on here. My name is Florentino, and this is Intertalk Media, and we just want you to connect to all things music. Before I continue on, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, the great Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. Those guys get you the right gear at the right prices, and not only that, they're real musicians. In fact, they are, they want you to play it loud, and they also want to make sure you never let go, because that's what Pitbull does. Never lets go of that dream, of that passion, and sometimes those passions and dreams turn into other things, So, and that's what we have here with Mr. William Bill Feldman, and Bill is the owner and inventor of the PinchClip. So all you drummers and percussion folks that use cymbal stands or hi-hat stands, stop being Wingnuts. Go with the PinchClip. It's going to be a better way, simpler way, and faster way, and cost-effective way. So we've been talking with Bill here a little bit about how he came up with this incredible idea, and that's again a testimony to a drummer finding something that he was passionate about, and how he wanted to do something different, and wanted to make his life easier. And now he was making everybody else who plays drums or percussion's lives easier. So, Bill, we were just talking about some of the players that you have on your roster there. In fact, with that said, in fact, the last commercial we heard, we have a lot of drummers that we're connected to, and we even have like J.R. Robinson, who's the most recorded drummer in history, as a show host. Right. So we might need to get you connected to some of these guys, man. We'll be doing some stuff with Kenny Aronoff here very shortly. We just, unfortunately, we just lost Ndugu Chancellor, who was a great friend of the network, and really sad to see him, transition on. But I know the band in heaven is going to be just monstrous. We've got a lot of folks. Jackie Bertoni, percussionist extraordinaire, has a show with us called Jackie's Groove. So, we need to get you connected to some of these folks. And, you've got a great roster already of players. How does it feel, man, when you get a chance to see this brainchild that you've created up on stage, and people are using them, and you see how it's making a difference in how their setup is. What's that experience like for you?
It's great. It's great. Everybody in life gets a drum solo. This is kind of my drum solo, aside from actual drum solos I take. But it's really nice. It's really very rewarding. When I hear somebody or they contact me and say, I really like your clips, or I read a review, or talk to somebody that uses them, it feels great. It's really nice. It's good.
Yeah, I hear you, man. When I see some of the shows that we produce get complimented, or people say, hey, that changed the way I look at the music business and it's helped me a lot, I feel inspired too. And that's why we do it. And outside of, making a little money and all that fun stuff, really when it comes down to it is, are we making a difference? And I think that, your product, even though Paul said, he likes them simple, it's definitely, an effective product here. And, you got a lot of interaction at the NAMM show this past 2018 January. Tell us about that experience. What was it like for the attendees, and what were their responses to your clips?
It was overwhelming. It was great. We happened to have a really good spot. I think that was part of it. Very well-traveled part of the floor. And I got a lot of people interested in the product. We picked up some more distributors internationally as well. Speaking of JR, I got to meet him. I gave him a pack, and hoping that he gets a chance to use them. But it was great. It was a really great experience. I was not really expecting that kind of a response for these. I've been exhibiting now for the past 3 years, so it's been getting better and better every year, and so I'm looking forward to next year. And the show was great, and it's really a boost. It's really NAMM really does expose you to a lot of people, both in every aspect of the industry. So it's been great.
It was even that much more huge this time. It's like 10% growth. It was 100,000 last year in 2017. This one, I think it was over 110,000.
I think that's about right. Yeah,
I think it was 110,000 and some change. I don't know. It's just getting more, And the funny thing about the whole NAMM thing is, it's super hard for you to get into if you're not a manufacturer or a retailer or like us in the media. So the fact that they have that many people, but they probably reject, unfortunately, 4, 5, 10 times that much with people trying to get in. It's amazing.
Right.
Easier to go meet the president, I think.
Probably. Yeah, it's just like anything else. It's who you know or what you do. But there's obviously a lot of people that are connected with companies, either as artists or whatever aspect. That's your foot in the door. But it's really a cool experience. It's just there's so much energy. And it's great. It's been this past year, as I mentioned, was just overwhelming. So.
Yeah. And the fact that you got it to JR and some of the other folks there. Who would be one of your targets that you would love seeing use your product? Who's some of your favorite drummers, and who you can get the product to them?
God, there's a handful of drummers that really influenced my playing, and actually JR is one of them. I didn't tell him that, but Steve Gadd.
I'll mention it to him for sure.
To see him. All right. I sent a bunch out to Steve Gadd some years ago. The marketing guy that I was working with knows John DeChristopher, who's Steve Gadd's manager or a friend of his, and but I don't know that he's using them. Steve Gadd, Harvey Mason, another really influential player. John Bonham, who's no longer with us, obviously, but what I like
Jason.
to see, we've still got Jason. Yeah. Really, anybody. I'd like to see anybody, famous or not famous, anybody that plays drums and can appreciate these. It would be great.
Well, I think it'd be smart for those folks. Like I said, as I'm looking at those, we might have to talk to you about getting a few of those ourselves. We have a live performance room over here, and we're often bringing in drummers and we're having to switch out cymbals and hi-hats, and this would be a nice fast way to do it. Because it's always such that's the one job, the part of the job as a drummer I'd hate, probably one of the reasons why it's just the whole setup and tear down and it's not the funnest part of the job for sure. So it takes time. So,
it does. And like I said, you have to be a drummer to get it. A layperson would say, what's the big deal about a couple of Wingnuts,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be more than happy to send some out to you. Be delighted to. So.
Oh, wow. That much appreciated. Wasn't jockeying for that, but we definitely would appreciate it, and obviously we'll be displaying those very fervently. Sure. With we're starting out. We had a show called Radio Band Diego that we stopped for a little while because we didn't have the production facility anymore, and now that we do, we're going to be starting that back up in the springtime. And it's basically about taking emerging bands and giving them a little bit of a spotlight, giving them some interview time, and let them play, and let them share their lives and their art and craft to the world. So. And then gear gets shown, so that's the beauty part of it all. So that'll be a tremendous thing. Very cool. We got about 2 minutes left. Where's PinchClip going now? What are you going to be doing next?
Good question. I'm working on a guitar strap lock. That operates very similar to a PinchClip. In fact, PinchClips do work on many guitar strap buttons, but they are stainless steel. Guitar players are a little funny about steel, something that sharp, coming in contact with the finish on their guitar, even though it would actually just make contact with the guitar strap itself. So I'm working on an actual plastic version right now, and just working on some prototypes and developing that. I see in the future PinchClip 2 coming out, and just trying to improve the performance of PinchClip right now and make it maybe a little bit more heavy duty, change the profile a little bit so it's even easier to grab onto. And,
very cool.
And that'll be happening in the future.
Well, that is awesome. Well, hey, folks, we are rounding this down now. Really appreciate you, Bill, for coming on. That's Bill Feldman, the founder and owner of PinchClip, where guitar players get ready. You're going to be able to have the ease and simplicity and coolness that drummers have had. Make sure you guys go to PinchClip or pinch-clip.com to check this out, because until you see it, he's got a video there where you can see it in action. It will make a difference. And really appreciate you coming on board with us today, Bill.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, there's that music. So stay tuned. We've got another show coming up right after this. This has been Music Gear Talk on Intertalk Media. Thanks for tuning in.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?